Welcome to Life's Hidden Curriculum, a podcast designed for Philadelphia teens and young adults that helps connect them to resources and information needed for adulthood. My name is Quan King, and I'm your host and curator of this content intended to get you the info and understanding necessary to make informed and smart decisions. You can find even more information on the website, lifeshiddencurriculum.com. And now, today's episode. I want to take a moment really quick and let you know that the content you're about to hear has been generated by Andrew and Izzy, AI. As such, it's always important to make sure you verify information that you get from any source, no matter how legit it sounds. I've listed all my resources and references in the archive on the website at lifeshiddencurriculum.com, so you can do your own due diligence, aka research. If you like any of these topics and want me to go into greater detail, hit me up in the comment section or send a message on the website using the contact link. All good? All right, here we go.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're doing a really fascinating deep dive into the history of hip-hop. Our mission is to track how this culture, born from scarcity really, became a global billion-dollar industry.
You know, whether its original political punch actually survived all that commercial success.
Exactly. So where do we even begin?
Really get it, you have to go back to the start. We're talking the early 1970s South Bronx.
Okay.
Hip-hop didn't just, pop up out of nowhere. It was a direct cultural response to institutional abandonment.
You mean things like the urban decay, white flight, all of that?
All of it. And the city was literally carving up communities with projects like the Cross Bronx Express.
So the environment itself was kind of the antagonist in the story.
It was, 100%.
So how did those foundational elements like DJing, MCing, how did they actually function as resistance?
Well, that's the genius of it. They turned that scarcity into an opportunity. If the city cuts your art program,
You use the whole street as your stage.
exactly. The street becomes the stage, and a pair of turntables, that's your orchestra. They built a whole architecture of resistance.
And the MC initially was just the person on the mic, right? The party hype man.
Just making announcements at block parties. But the culture, it needed a voice to match the struggle. The pivot was 1982. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five's The Message.
The Message, of course.
That track was just this.
Yeah.
This unblinking account of the grim reality of inner city life. It completely elevated the MC.
From announcer to orator.
It set the entire blueprint for socio-political discourse in the genre.
And that, I guess, lays the groundwork for the golden era, late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, that's when you get those really intense systemic critiques.
You're talking about NWA's Fuck That Police.
That's the prime example. I mean, Chuck D of Public Enemy had that famous line.
Oh, the CNN for Black people one.
Right. He asserted that rap was functioning as CNN for Black people. It was education, and it was leading to genuine activism, like the Stop the Violence movement.
Wow. Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting, I think. How does a politically charged message like that survive when billions of dollars get involved?
Well, that is the central tension.
Because you saw incredible economic empowerment. Entrepreneurs like Russell Simmons, Dr. Dre, they're building empires. Sales hit nearly $2 billion by 2000.
And that's a form of economic defiance.
Right. But it came with a cost.
A huge cost. The imperative to maximize profit forced what critics call an ideological contraction.
What does that mean exactly?
I mean, the market naturally selected the narratives that were, market friendly.
The ones that sell.
The ones that sell. So stories about wealth, materialism.
Anything that isn't politically disruptive.
Precisely.
Yeah.
You see it in the wild success of an album like 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Tryin'. And the critique was that this created a kind of bleached Pepsi culture.
Meaning the authentic, hard flavor was stripped away to be safe and sellable.
Yep. To the widest possible audience.
Yeah. Which is what prompted Nas's famous Hip Hop is Dead critique in 2006. He saw that formulaic repetition taking over.
He did, but the culture itself is just fundamentally resilient, while the mainstream center became very commercial.
Complex political dialogue just moved. It decentralized.
It moved to the periphery. And you still have conscious artists like Kendrick Lamar continuing that intellectual tradition.
I mean, To Pimp a Butterfly is a masterclass in blending jazz and heavy political themes.
Absolutely. And what's different now is that digital platforms, social media, they empower artists to completely bypass those old corporate gatekeepers and actively counter. Hip hop's history is this perfect case study in the tension between counterculture and capitalism. The market selected the hustler trope
Why that one specifically?
because that narrative already fit perfectly into the American consumer story.
Yeah.
Pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, it's politically non-disruptive.
Right. Which leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to consider. If the genre was born out of institutional abandonment, is the massive accumulation of wealth by hip-hop entrepreneurs today the ultimate ideological victory against that system? Or has that commercial success simply redefined and perhaps even domesticated the terms of resistance?
We'll leave you to think on that.
Thanks for listening to another episode on Life's Hidden Curriculum podcast. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube as we're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. If you like this content and want to support, head over to the website, lifeshiddencurriculum.com, and click donate. Also, I'm always looking for guests to share their stories, especially if it can help the next generation. Hit me up using the contact link. Thanks again, and stay tuned for more.